Good morning. Welcome to day 25 of the Earth Month Stitch Along Challenge. Guess what I found on my dog walk this morning? A broken zip tie. It seems that this stitch along is featuring quite a few zip ties. I can't help it. I keep finding zip ties everywhere. And they're totally useless once they've served their purpose, whatever they were holding on to. So might as well make them into an artwork. So let's get stitching. Okay, so there is my clear plastic substrate. And along with the zip tie, here's the other thing I found today's walk. It's a little piece of blue plastic. I am guessing that this is a piece of an egg from an Easter egg hunt. So I am going to do my everyday stitch along, and I'm going to use up whatever green thread I have. So I have this, and this is from yesterday. This is the green thread I had from yesterday, and I found a little bit of a blue variegated thread, which I think I've used a few days ago. So I will use that as well. So you can probably guess I am going to, well, actually maybe you can't guess, because originally I was thinking of making this zip tie into a flower like I did the other bunch of times. But I think maybe today it'll be a home. I am going to cut away this tough upper portion of the zip tie. I will save that for something else. It's sitting here along with another cutaway portion. Maybe we'll use it later. So I think that I can make this into a home, and this little blue will be a window in the home. So that's the plan. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to use this light blue variegated thread, and I'm going to start by stitching on this little zip tie on its edge with just my long overlapping stitches. I'll take a short one here first. And I am just going to, oh, hi Deirdre, love you too. So nice to see you here. Hi, I miss you. All right, so I'm just stitching this down. It's going on its edge because that is the only way to stitch it down flat here and still retain its funny shape. That is reminding me of a home here. And I forgot to really handle my thread. So one of the things I like to do usually is I like to run my thread through my fingers, so it kind of stops it from getting all tangled up. And I totally forgot to do that as I got this thread ready. So that's why it's sort of tangling on me. But hopefully it won't tangle too much. Okay, so I am just couching this plastic zip tie onto my substrate just so that it stays somewhat in its intended shape. It's a shape that it's already been formed. I don't know how long this little zip tie was lying out there, out in the wild, but it seems to have its own shape already, and I'm going to retain that shape. So I'm going to take a couple of stitches at the top and make a sort of a crisscross just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. It stays in place, and because I do want it to be, while it doesn't have to be permanent, I do want it to be secure. Okay, so I need to make this thread a little bit longer. There we go. Now I'm just stitching on this final section. So can you believe it's the final week of April already? I am shocked how quickly time is flying right by. But yes, final week of April, Earth Month. This is my final week of doing these live stitch-alongs, and I can't wait to see what else you have done so I can post all your stitch-alongs here. All right, so I'm taking the final stitch here on the bottom, but I think I will continue using this thread throughout. So I think I want to do a running stitch through the bottom here to give this little house or tent or whatever you want to call it, to give it a base to rest on. That's what we'll call it, a floor. So just a running stitch, and because it's a clear plastic that I'm stitching through, you can see it from both sides. I'm trying to make it straight. I'm not very good at making it straight because I'm sort of doing as it's hanging here. Okay, so there. So actually I am going to tie it off. I don't want to have to continue this line to the window. I want to make it its own thing. So there, I just tied the knot off there. So I'm going to cut that off, tie another knot at the end of my embroidery thread. I love this variegated thread. I'm not sure whether this one was from Voldani or not, but they're one of my favorites. Okay, so I'm going to make this into a little window. Now, do I want it that way or this way? I kind of like that the diagonal here is sort of mimicking the shape of the zip tie, so I'm going to have it going up this way. And I'm going to make a very, very simple stitches, sort of doing that crisscross in the window. You know, just how kids draw, when they draw a window, they just do a little crisscross for the window panes. That's exactly what I'm evoking here. And there it is. There's the window, and my little piece is very simple, and it's done. So I'm going to take my thread back here, and I'm going to hook it through this one stitch here, and now I'm going to take a stitch through the plastic as well, and then I will tie it off like this. I don't want to pull too hard because that will rip the plastic, but there, I think now it's good. So perhaps I threaded the other needles that was not needed because I was intending to start with a flower, but I wound up with a home. And sometimes that's what happens. You intend to do something and it speaks to you in a different way and you make something else. So there we go. Today, for day 25, we have a little house. Thanks for being here with me. I'll see you tomorrow.